Rush Limbaugh. A recently remixed version of I'm a Philanderer. And after this, my friends, we're going to offer liposuction to those of you who need it.
Oh, well, I'm the type of guy who will never settle down. Where pretty girls are, well, you know that I'm around. I kiss a man, I love them, because to me they're all the same.
His favorite targets were Jesse Jackson, Mario Cuomo, and Ted Kennedy.
I'm a philanderer, yes, a philanderer.
Well, hello, welcome. We are here celebrating the release of the video that you're now watching. And as I've often said, I get to have more fun than any human being should be allowed to have. And now I am continuing that fun. For us, a celebration. For you, even better. We've taken the very funniest and craziest moments from my award-winning thrill-packed television show. We've reorganized them from A to Z and placed them in this wonderful little box so that you can now enjoy them right along with us. Now, my friends, let me ask you a question. Ask yourself, how have I lived all these years without Rush in my VCR? Ask yourself that. Now, I've alphabetized this video so you can easily find your favorite moments. Not just for your own pleasure, but to help you educate that liberal clown who lives next door. We call this collection of our funniest moments, Sometimes You Just Gotta Laugh. These days, laughter's necessary. In fact, when you look at what some of those bozos in Washington are doing, it's almost mandatory. Laughter is also good for you, as long as you don't inhale. So,
he used to do collar abortions, drowning out callers to a show with the sound of a vacuum cleaner, which really dramatized the pro-life cause. Those collar abortions are gone. He discontinued those. He used to have AIDS updates, poking fun at homosexual promiscuity. He used to play renditions of My Boy Lollipop, making fun of homosexual Congressman Barney Frank. All of those are gone.
all right, listen up, folks. A political twister's kicking up across the fruited plain, and you need a conservative compass to point you to the truth. You need the Limbaugh letter.
I proposed Rush Limbaugh to the people at Simon & Schuster, and they rejected it. And they rejected it and rejected it and rejected it. And I just kept going back and doing my usual routines. And at some point, I convinced them that they should let me do this, because I was doing a lot of other celebrity books, and this was one that was meaningful to me. And there was tremendous resistance. They were not interested in publishing Rush Limbaugh, because the general consensus in publishing and at that company at the time was he was that fascist nut. And they didn't want to have anything to do with him, and they didn't think the books would sell. And besides, you know, people who listen to the Rush Limbaugh show, they don't read. You know, they couldn't possibly read. Those people don't think, because they don't agree with us. Therefore, they don't think.
You and Oprah have all the money, don't you? You and Oprah. This is your like second best-selling book.
7.5 million copies of 3 books in print.
Oh, my God.
And about 5 million sold. I'm overwhelmed by it. I mean,
Limbaugh's personal income is now an estimated $25 million a year.
Thank everybody in the audience, including the liberals out there.
Do you ever wake up in the middle of the night and just think to yourself, I am just full of hot gas? Do you ever?
Okay, the fun rolls on, folks. Now the letter D. D could stand for dizzy or dazed. D could mean diluted, demented, or even defunct. Fortunately, however, we have found one D word which encompasses all of the above. Know what it is? Democrats is right. Here it is.
If you tell them to take up the gangplank, you'll get it. If you tell them to ignore sick people, you'll get it. If you tell them to ignore the poor, you'll get it. If you tell them to victimize young children, you'll get it.
You tell them you want a new governor, you'll get it. When you think about what Democrats stand for today, and Bob, doesn't all this make sense? They are a miserable lot. I mean, they are the original doom and gloomers. People always come up to me and say, hey, Rush, when is there going to be a liberal counterpart to you on radio? And I say, never. And they say, why? I said, because when's the last one you ever heard it's having fun? Well, they don't laugh. They're just... My friends, I never thought I'd see this day. Mayflower moving vans at the Capitol. Here they are. And
most Americans are working longer days and earning third world wages.
Third world wages? And by the way, Mr. Gephardt, can I say something? There is, I'm going to get real close here so you can't mistake me. There is nothing stealth about our attempt to defeat you guys. It's right out in the open and as big as in your face as I am right now. I'll tell you what, is this the best looking audience in American television or what?
So who lives in Rush Limbaugh's America? Surveys show that they are white and mostly men, middle-aged, well-educated, civic-minded suburbanites. They are pro-business and anti-taxes. They think big government social welfare programs are wasteful and don't work. They read their newspapers, but don't trust the national media.
Well, my whole family used to be Democrats, and I was the first Republican when I turned 18. And since then, they've all become Republicans because the ideals that the Democrat Party used to stand for, hard work, the work ethic, you know, making your own way in life, have gone. And it's become, the Democratic Party seems to be a party of special interest groups and getting reelected and staying in power.
We all are free-thinking people. We make our own decisions. And we listen to Rush because he says what we want to hear. And he says what we are thinking, and he says it publicly.
Mega dittos, Rush.
For those of you who are not in New York, we have severe racial tensions here in the mayor, the first African mayor, almost said black. That would have been insensitive. Yes. The first African-American mayor to ever be elected here in New York was so elected last fall, General David Dinkins, and the columnists in this town all said the night of his primary victory, "Oh, it's such a sweeter city. It's so much nicer here today. Why, the bums even thanked me when I gave them a quarter," all of this. And, of course, as you know, he ran on the healing platform, and there hasn't been a whole lot of healing.
Well,
in fact, no, that's the whole point of the Unity update. See this? This is a fine alligator. You animal rights people, I hope you love this. This used to be a slimy, greasy reptile known as an alligator, and you know what it now houses? Fine tobacco. You know that the jungle is what they now call the rainforest, but it's a jungle. You can't say jungle anymore because jungle has overtones of third worldism. You can't say it. It's almost a racist thing to say jungle. It's a jungle. I mean, they don't sit there and say, "Boy, it's a rainforest out there." Now, I know many of you are probably seeing me and some of these things for the first time, and you're probably a little bit surprised. You thought I was something other than what you see portrayed here. The truth be known, I am just a harmless, lovable little fuzzball. Oh, I mean, yes, it's absolutely true. But there are a bunch of people who would love to have you think that I'm a mean, ornery, myopic sexist. What do you mean, yeah? Who let the liberals in here? We're not into diversity on this tape. I have separated them here into their own special group, ladies and gentlemen. These people I'm talking about. F is for feminists.
I think that we ought to stop for a minute and talk about what feminism is, because I keep hearing from the media that feminism is the new F word. Now, we have several possible definitions to choose from. We could go with Pat Robertson. How many of you can recite his definition with me? During the campaign for the Equal Rights Amendment to the Iowa Constitution, he sent out a fundraising letter, and he said that the Equal Rights Amendment had nothing to do with a movement for equality. It had to do with teaching women to kill their children, leave their husbands, practice witchcraft, destroy capitalism, and become lesbians. 4 out of 5 ain't bad.
Now, there is a young feminist, an angry, bored, nothing better to do feminist who is reflecting the views of modern militant feminism. She's on campus at UC Santa Cruz. She's supposed to be getting an education. She's supposed to be concerned about what she doesn't know. She's an ignoramus. She's trying to become educated. Hey, I don't, look, when you're an ignoramus, it just means you're ignorant. Doesn't mean you're stupid or dumb. That's to come later, and I think you'll agree with me that this person's not only ignorant, but stupid. And she is offended by these signs that show a woman in a skirt on the door to a restroom. Because she wears pants. We thought that we, ladies and gentlemen, would get into the business of suggesting possible solutions to solve this crisis. Let's see the normal doors in. There they are. First, how about this? Try this. This is our second alternative. I have said once, if not once, many times, I've said, you know, I love the women's movement, especially when walking behind it. It's clever, it's funny, and it's harmless. But not to these women who are wound so tight and so bitter. They're so angry and they're just waiting to go grab a kitchen knife and go, what? Take that.
This is our wedding anniversary.
Is it right?
Yes.
No kidding.
I have a question for you.
Rush has 20 million listeners. I think Rush is, critics call him fanatical, but he's mainstream. The guys that are listening are mainstream. If you go out in the streets and the byways, and you go down in Oklahoma, you go down in Kansas, you go down in Illinois, they're listening to Rush.
He's a provocateur. He is a agent provocateur of what I would call progressive conservatism. I don't think he's going to run for office. I don't think he's going to lead a football team. I don't think he's going to lead the country. But in many ways, he's leading public opinion. And Lincoln said you can accomplish anything you want if you've got public opinion behind you, and you can't get anything done without it.
Now, as many of you know, I am an extremely humble man. I find it difficult to speak of myself. I don't like. I really don't. I find it very uncomfortable talking about myself. I seldom do it. Sometimes it simply must be done. Therefore, I have bowed to the will of those around me and permitted G to stand for me. Greatness. My name is John here. He doesn't have anywhere near the power I have. He's just a staff nerd. And I am telling you, ladies and gentlemen, and furthermore, what I want to tell you is there's these inequities of power. They should exist. There have to be inequities of power. I'm like the national debt. Nobody understands just how big I really am. And I'm not going away anytime soon either.
He saw George Bush collapse completely because he said one thing and did something else. He broke a promise on taxes. And Rush believes that the last thing the Republicans need is for them to do that again. So he's going to be the enforcer. And he means it. You know, you're still friends, guys, but you know, I'm gonna call it as I see it. And if you go south on me, you know, you get whacked too.
It would seem arrogant for a talk show host to threaten the Speaker of the House with a political whipping, but the constituents of Newt's new majority were Rush's people first, and Rush works the precinct every day.
Surveys show that people who listen to Rush Limbaugh have 45% cleaner and brighter wash. You're somebody special when you listen to Rush Limbaugh.
On the Excellence in Broadcasting Network, I am here, my friends, ensconced firmly and comfortably in the prestigious Attila the Hun chair.
Back in his studio, Rush is now getting more than 500 faxes a day. But now it's not just ditto heads and party leaders who want to reach him. Even totems of the established order like Alan Greenspan, the chairman of the Federal Reserve Board, now offer Rush briefings.
He is probably better informed if he chooses to be in the morning than almost anyone in the country. Because everyone has decided what's most important to them and tried to communicate that to him by 10 o'clock in the morning. It's quite remarkable, which is why I think he's so... That's why I think he can sustain what he's doing for a lot longer, because when you're on top of the world, everyone is aiming to influence you.
Rush Limbaugh sits at the center of the new politics. His enemies still denounce him, but now they're also trying to emulate him. They hope that a powerful liberal voice, perhaps a Mario Cuomo, will soon take the field to answer him. But it won't be easy, because Rush Limbaugh could not have been invented by politicians. He was a new voice who found his perfect moment, and only then did the politicians find him. Our new wired-up hyperdemocracy promises the sound of many voices, the fury of competing ideas. What it has delivered, so far, is the sound and fury of this one uncontested voice.
Having more fun than a human being should be allowed to have. Rush Limbaugh, the majority maker and honorary member of the 104th House of Representatives. H is for the smartest woman ever to trod the soil of planet Earth. H is for the woman who rode in on that white horse to save all of us from our stupidity and incompetence. H is for the woman who is known as Hillary.
None of us in this room, no matter how well insured, can be guaranteed we will have the same insurance this year at the same cost next year if we do nothing to change our system. So health security remains the primary objective, and universal coverage must be the bottom line of any legislation.
All right, that does it. That is not going to happen, Mrs. Clinton, not while I'm around. You just saw a woman, Hillary Clinton, wife of the President of the United States, who is the best example for all of you women out there to forsake feminism. Well, what's so funny? Let me tell you what you do. Do what she did. Find a guy who's going somewhere and hitch yourself to him and follow him wherever he goes, and when he gets there, take over.
Remember when the president talked about forcing the spring in the inaugural speech? I see little green sprouts all over. They are fragile. They can be stomped on real easy. There can be a terrible storm like the one we're living through right now. But they're there.
Hey, Mrs. Clinton. Gotcha. Now, from time to time, I find it necessary to speak out, not only for myself, but for others as well, and I do so. And sometimes I do it in their voices. My friend's I is for impersonations. Watch. Perot walks in to this meeting with the congressman, the freshman Republicans, and he says to them, all right, let's get something straight. I'm a billionaire and you're nothing. You guys, the only difference between you and a bag of dog manure and a girl. Well, I think one must, if one's going to discuss the reasons why liberals are liberals, one must first understand that liberalism is devoid of anything to do with the intellect. In Bob Woodward's book, The Agenda, he sat down, it's reported, and he drew a square on it right there, and Carbo said, show me in there. Where's his center? What's he stand for? Where is the sacred ground in there? I don't have any but health care reform in there. That doesn't count for a hill of beans because nobody wants it. Where's my gumbo? I feel your pain. What I should have told you was that both teams were fired up. Both teams gave it every ounce of their capability. Have you ever heard my dolphin impersonation? Okay. One of the biggest problems I have is I am so misunderstood by people who only hear this show one time. And the C-SPAN cameras are not going to be back tomorrow, and so that's why we're not going to do a caller abortion. It's one of our most popular features in New York. But there's no way I could escape from that with you having any idea what it is. The letter J has left us and gone back to Arkansas, as the letter H soon will as well. It was Ross Perot's dad who tried to get him out of the Navy. You know why? Said, my son can't deal with it. Why? When he learned that sailors cuss, and when he learned that they chase women and they swear, why, the Navy wasn't for him. Well, now, maybe if somebody would have told Bill Clinton that that was going on, it could have gotten him in instead of getting thrown out. We'll be back in just a moment. Do we all agree that there is this syndrome called PMS? Do we? And we also know that while in this state of PMS, women get crazy. Some women have even committed murder, and that's what you want in combat. And they've been acquitted of the charge in murder because they weren't themselves. It's been used successfully as defense. That wasn't me, it wasn't myself. So I think what we need is the All-American 1st Cavalry Amazon Battalion. And that would be 52 combat-ready divisions, one a week, to make sure that every week you have a division of combat-ready women in PMS. That's the answer to this. Now here's... Stop that.
There's a holdup in the Bronx. Brooklyn's broken out in fights. There's a traffic jam in Harlem that's backed up to Jackson Heights. There's a scout troop short a child. Khrushchev's doing I know wild.
General David Dinkins, where are you?
And at this juncture, we would then fill in the blanks with what has happened on the Unity Trail in our fair city since the last update.
The mugging or the stabbing.
No,
right?
we got an even bigger one tonight.
Oh.
Sonny Carson, who is one of General Dinkins' campaign supporters, a black leader, is going to have a town meeting tonight where the white media, in the spirit of unity, the white media is not being allowed into the Black Town Hall meeting.
There's a holdup in the Bronx. Brooklyn's broken out in fights. There's a traffic jam in Harlem that's backed up to Jackson Heights. There's a scout troop short a child. Khrushchev's doing I know wild.
General David Dinkins, where are you?
Now, of course, there's so much unity news. That's just one brief bit. But imagine, here's one of the mayor's primary supporters, who's in the spirit of unity having a town meeting tonight with only the black media allowed. Now, there's a lot of medical news that's making its way into the mainstream press, and so sometimes I have to put on my doctor's hat, and we do Dr. Rush. Nobody ever said that I never took risks. Now, the N-word's a very simple one, often repeated by certain naysayers who see the glass as half empty. N, my friends, comes from the leadership of America. And yes, N stands for no, 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 no.
How are we going to do this? First of all, let's identify the microphone holders. Who's got the mics? Stand up. Raise your hands. All right, I'll tell you what I think we will do is I'll just start over here and we'll just go around the room and then turn around and go back again.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Rush Limbaugh, and I'm from New York City, and my question is, given the fact that the first year of your presidency, we've been dragged through Travelgate, Hairgate, Nannygate, Fornigate, and now Whitewatergate, do you think we should believe a single word you say?
No, 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 no.
I didn't think so.
The very people you try hardest to help are those who turn away.
The people you try hardest to help are those who turn away. He's talking about you. You're so stupid. You didn't realize that he was trying to help you. You just looked at this man with this biggest heart that any president's ever had. Ba-boom, ba-boom. And you didn't understand that he was trying to help you. And so you said to him, no, 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 no.
No, 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 no.
The avowed purpose is to raise money, to collect money from you, to buy shopping carts for human beings. And call it compassion, call it concern and caring. They put reinforced wheels on these shopping carts. Tell you why. Most homeless people, folks, have not figured out leverage. When they get their shopping cart and they go off the sidewalk and into the street, you eventually reach a curb. And many times you and I would just put our foot on the rear axle of the shopping cart and lift it up and go onto the sidewalk. The homeless just, the wheels come off. So these shopping carts have reinforced wheels, and you can even get them so that they are rubberized on the tips so that the metal doesn't hurt anybody. Well, these people claim that that's compassion and caring. Would you think that going out and saying to another human being, hey, I love you, I care about you, and I want the best for you. Here's a shopping cart. Yes, my friends, R is for Rush.
Rush Limbaugh is the greatest thinker in America today. The greatest thinker, bar none, in our party, their party, anybody's party, because he is not a politician. He's a commonsensical thinking American.
Rush? Yeah. Rush doesn't like me that much. How do you think Rush should be as Democratic National Chairman?
It'd be fantastic. Yeah, well, I wish he could start next week.
He's a very smart and very entertaining young man who I think has enormous impact precisely because people are so loyal to him and enjoy his broadcast so much.
When I'm in New Mexico, I listen to Rush Limbaugh.
He's an entertainer.
Right.
Has nothing to do with his right, but he's a fantastic performer.
When we talk about Limbaugh, for instance, I think Dick Gregory hit it exactly right. People are always critical of Limbaugh for his politics or this or that. But I don't care what your politics, that guy's is funny.
I said, what great? When he said, you see who just walked by? I said, who? He said, Joe DiMaggio. I said, what? I turned around. It's Joe DiMaggio. I said, yeah. So what do you think we should do? I said, well, our choices are to sit here like adults in the world of some accomplishment, or get up like a couple of teenagers and chase him out. Rush said, let's go. Mr. DiMaggio said, Mr. Limbaugh, Rush, I listen to you every day. Now, in your drug questionnaire, where have you gone, Joe DiMaggio? Joe DiMaggio's home listening to Rush Limbaugh.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, the S word. We're up to S now. The S word's a sneaky one. We all need symbols in our lives. The American flag, corporate logo of PepsiCo or IBM, even the cross of Christianity. But like anything else, symbolism can go wacky on us. So let's take a closer look at S for symbols. I, because I'm wearing these ribbons, I care more than any of you about anything. And these ribbons say so. I want you people sitting at home and you people in the audience, look down at your lapel right now. I want you to do this. Put the camera back on me. Do this. When you look down, what do you see? You don't see anything because you're not wearing any ribbons. It means you're a bigot. It means you're a racist. It means you're a sexist. It means you're a homophobe. It probably means you're a white guy. It probably means you're a European. And you alone are responsible for all the ills of America. But I'm not, because I'm wearing these ribbons. I care more than you. Last Friday, I was in Rochester, New York. I went up there to address the after-dinner audience at the Conservative Party, Monroe County. Largest crowd they've ever had, $75 a person, around 550 people. Every television, what are you laughing at? Every television station showed up. Every newspaper showed up. There were, and my visit was known for 6 weeks. It was known for 6 weeks I was going to go up there. And they had 25 protesters. 100 yards away, 25.
2 dozen.
Plus one.
Okay.
And the media was all saying, what about all those protesters? And I said, well, it's rather puny. They've known I'm coming for 6 weeks. You people in media continue to get it wrong. You've got 550 people, half of them women, who are going to pay $75 to hear what I have to say in there tonight, and you're worried about these 25 people up there.
The media didn't want to cover the nuts.
But here, I just want to tell you the media does things. Here is a photo of the event outside. There are 1, 2, 3 that you'll be able to see, 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe 8 protesters. The chant was racist, sexist, anti-gay, Rush Limbaugh, go away. Look at the relative amount of space given to the story of my appearance, which is the text, and look at the huge photo of that puny mob. Now, you see, my friends, there you have an example of how the media focuses on really minority type thing. 25 puny.
Maybe you didn't say enough to warrant any more print space.
Oh, yes. The fact that I was there was the only reason this was happening. Look, we got to take a break here. We've got to do a lot of things. We will be back. Your calls are coming up on Open Line Friday, as well as some more news digest things and so forth, so don't go away. We thought that there's something worse on TV than violence that you should be warned about, so we've come up with our own rating and label system. And that which we think you should be warned about is liberalism on TV. So every TV show that is liberal can have an L rating, can have a UL for ultra-liberal, EW for environmentally wacko liberal, this is like for Captain Planet, APM, actor promoting his movie, BS means makes sense to Barbara Streisand and nobody else. A lot of people have decided that the roads and highways of America could be a lot safer if women would simply stop farting while they're driving. And, see, he said, what? And I talked about this on the radio, and a woman called me one day and said, Rush, I can't believe what I'm hearing you say, that word. I said, what word? Well, you know, you're talking. I said, you mean women who are farting while they drive? And she said, I can't believe you're saying that. How do you know? How do you know that men don't do it? And I said, because you can see men don't do it. The word is fard, F-A-R-D. It's a French word, and it means to apply makeup. Look it up. It does. It does. I love watching that, especially people who have not seen it before. Some in this audience, my friends, were taken aback. Now, a while back, we had a lot of fun with the word no, especially as it was so often repeated by our president. Stands to reason that we can have an equally good time with the word yes.
I'd be thrilled if we could use the money we have and get better results.
Now watch here. Watch.
If we could spend a little more money
there
and get the result.
There it is! There it is! There it was! Yes! 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 Hot damn!
I hear you saying that the state could then take the children away from the parent, and that the children then, I assume, under current law and under your proposal, could be put in orphanages. Is that not correct?
Let me repeat. This is
no, but is that correct?
The children would be taken into the child welfare system in foster care. In some cases put into an adoption situation, in some cases put into group homes depending on their ages.
Could they be put into orphanages is my question.
They wouldn't be put into 19...
Not would they, could they be?
There are, if they were babies, it's likely not.
Could they or could they not be put in orphanages? It's a very simple question.
If they were teenagers, they could be put into group homes, which is the modern version of residential settings for children.
If they were less than teenagers, if they were preteens, could they be put into orphanages by the states under your program?
There are most of the residential settings in this country. Most young children are put into foster care in this country. Most of the residential homes are for slightly older children. But
could they be put into orphanages by the state? That's a simple question, yes or no?
As part of the overall series of options that a state has before it, the answer is yes.
You heard her say yes. Did you hear her say yes? We got him twice. We got him twice today. Yes. 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 Hot damn. But I wanted to do as much as I can to bring you up to speed on what can happen on this program. Also, there is a news digest. The first 20 minutes of the program, I do a monologue where I report to you what I have discovered as a result of my diligent reading of the newspapers and magazines. And, of course, the news which dominates the scene now is Gorbachev news and the summit. Do you feel safer with Gorbachev in town and Bush and Gorbachev talking? And did you know that Raisa bonded with first dog Millie?
Yeah.
They're getting along. The dog and Raisa are getting along.
The dog quivers when Raisa speaks to it.
I would too if some communist woman got into my house uninvited and tried to make friends with my dog.
Except George is getting jealous.
I don't know if he is or not.
Here tonight is a special man, beloved by millions of Americans, who just received a stage 4 advanced cancer diagnosis. This is not good news, but what is good news is that he is the greatest fighter and winner that you will ever meet. Rush Limbaugh, thank you for your decades of tireless devotion to our country. And Rush, in recognition of all that you have done for our nation, the millions of people a day that you speak to and that you inspire, and all of the incredible work that you have done for charity, I am proud to announce tonight that you will be receiving our country's highest civilian honor, the Presidential Medal of Freedom. I will now ask the First Lady of the United States to present you with the honor, please. Rush and Catherine, congratulations. Thank you, Catherine.
Needing to constantly show my appreciation for all that you have done and meant to me. So I hope you all have a great Christmas, a great New Year. And I hope that the things that are in store for all of us in the coming year are certainly better than what we have endured in 2020. I don't know too many people have enjoyed 2020. Probably some sickos out there who have, but 2021 has to be better. We're going to try to make it that way here at the EIB Network. Again, folks, thank you so much. I wish there were a way to say it other than thank you. You're just the best. My family is just the best. Thank you. This is not a complaint. I'm simply, this is why I say so much I want to say today, and so much I want to say well, so much I want to say exactly as I'm feeling it. Because my point in all of this today is gratitude. My point in everything today that I share with you about this is to say thanks and to tell everybody involved how much I love you from the bottom of a sizable and growing and still beating heart. And there's room for much more. All because I've learned what love really is during this. You know, I have a philosophy. There's good that happens in everything. It may not reveal itself immediately. And even in the most dire circumstances, if you just wait, if you just remain open to things, the good in it will reveal itself. And that has happened to me as well in countless ways. You know, I mentioned Catherine. Don't misunderstand. She's done much more than just redesign a website and shepherd the rushlimbaugh.com store. She shepherded the charitable efforts, the Betsy Ross, stand up for Betsy Ross. That amount of money we generated for the Tunnel to Towers organization, just incredible stuff. And it was all done for me. Well, and the beneficiaries of the church, it was all done for me. All of this was done for me. So many people have done things this year for me. And it's not embarrassing. It's just gratifying. And it has helped me to see so much, so clearly about the goodness of people and their decency. And it's confirmed so much of my instinctive beliefs about people. For example, the alleged president-elect Joe Biden holiday message, our darkest days are ahead of us. Well, for some of us, that's absolutely true. But folks, I have to tell you, if I were president-elect of the country, it's the last thing I would say. And even if I believed it, I doubt that I would put it this way. But I don't believe this anyway. Darkest days are ahead of us. What a bleak way of looking at things. This is during a press briefing yesterday. It said the worst is yet to come in the fight against the coronavirus pandemic. Which is weird, given that Biden has repeatedly claimed that it's Trump who's killing Americans with COVID. And so Trump's going to be gone soon, so why are our darkest days ahead of us when Trump is leaving, if Trump's responsible for all of this? But my point is, yeah, the virus is what it is, but we adapt. I talked about this yesterday. We Americans have adapted to our problems. We've adapted to changing evolutionary things in our lives, in our country, because of our freedom. Our freedom has allowed our adaptability. If disaster is coming our way, we don't just sit there and endure it. We come up with ways to avoid it, to beat it back, to overcome it, but we don't just sit there and accept it. And as such, we don't just resign ourselves to the fact that we're living in the darkest days, because we, at least to this point, still have the greatest degree of freedom of any people on earth. Now, it's under assault and under attack, and we all know this. But I don't believe our darkest days are ahead of us. I never have. Like people have been asking, you've always told us it'd be time to panic. Well, it's never time to panic, folks. It's never, ever going to be time to give up on our country. It'll never be time to give up on the United States. It'll never be time to give up on yourself. Trust me. So we're going to do a real program today. And in the process of the real program, I'm going to be sharing the thoughts I want to share with you today. I'm going to just do it at random whenever it hits me, whenever I feel it. I got to take a break right now. I'm a little long here. We'll be back. We will continue. Thank you so much for being with us today. And thank you for being part of this audience for 30 years, 32, whatever it is. It's just mind-boggling.
Well, As all great things must, we have reached the end. We've reached the letter Z. Time for our last observation of the world scene. And Z, very important. You might say almost cosmic, because Z is a lesson in zoology. You see, my friends, I told you so. Sometimes you just gotta laugh.